What's up, guys? It's Matt here with Tanks Lawn Maintenance. It is 2:43 p.m. Sunday, May the 9th, 2024, year of our Lord. I'm sorry, June the 9th, 2024, year of our Lord. Not used to saying June, man. This year's absolutely flown by so far. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna start a new video series, so just look out for the titles. It's gonna be Bermuda grass tips and tricks to restore your beautiful Bermuda property, your Bermuda lawn. Anyway, I'm gonna stand over here in the shade and talk to y'all for a minute. Hopefully y'all can hear me over my AC unit over there. But I'm currently in the process of restoring my Bermuda lawn. I bought my house in 2017, and when I bought my house, or the people I bought my house from, sorry guys, had a bubble come up, but anyway, the people that I bought my house from, they did not really take care of the lawn. They would mow it about once a month, and that's it. They didn't treat it or anything like that. So when we bought the house, we bought it at the beginning of March. So it was about to come out of dormancy, or in the process of coming out of dormancy. And it was probably about I don't know, 6-7 inches high, choked full of winter weeds, and just an ugly lawn. It really was. But I looked at it, and I've restored a lawn before, or I've helped restore some lawns before for people in the family, and I just thought, I can deal with this. This is something I can manage. But anyway, make a long story short, I started restoring my lawn right after, almost immediately after I bought my house. I applied an application of weed and feed, just regular Scott's Turf Builder weed and feed. And what that did, I actually hit it a little too late because it was in March. You're supposed to, weed and feed, it doesn't have weed killer in it, it has pre-emergent in it. And you're actually supposed to put down your pre-emergent at the end of January or early February. And what that does is it keeps any kind of weed seeds that are in your soil from germinating. It doesn't kill them, but it does keep them from coming up. So what I did is I applied a application of weed and feed. I hit it real heavy, and it didn't kill any of the weeds, but it did speed up the greening up process. But what I did first is I scalped my Bermuda lawn. That is something that is important. Scalp your Bermuda lawn every year. Wait till your grass is about half green when it's coming out of the dormant stage. Once about a third of it to a half of it is green, lower your mowing deck as low as you can possibly lower it without touching dirt, and scalp your lawn. Preferably bag it. If you can't bag it, mulch it up really good. That is important, because if you have 2-3 inch grass blades on your lawn and you scalp it and you don't bag it or don't mulch it up really fine, it's going to create a ton of thatch. And you want some thatch in your yard, but you don't want more than about a 1/4 inch of thatch layer. This is the way I've always played it anyway, 1/4 inch. But try to scalp and bag your Bermuda lawn every year, early spring, as soon as it starts to green up. But anyway, I spent from 2017 till the winter of 2019 working in my lawn. I was doing different things. I would aerate it here and there. I would dethatch it here and there. I mowed it regularly, and a lot of the weeds were disappearing. The lawn was thickening up, and COVID happened. The winter of 2019, 2020, and I was considered the company that I worked for considered us essential workers, so we did not stay at home. Half of the company got laid off, and the other half had to cover everything else that the laid off employees were covering. So I did not have time to maintain my property anymore, and the lawn started looking bad. I was able to mow my grass once every other week. That was it. I didn't have time for applications or anything like that. So the only thing my lawn was getting was just a lawn mow every other week. I wasn't even watering it. There wasn't any point. I figured once COVID ended, I would get back out here and I would have more time to do things. Well, in between COVID ending, or in between that time, the start of COVID and the end of COVID, I started a business. I started a lawn care business in my area, and I am now one of the lawn care providers in my area, and my business is on the rise. It is it's doing very well. I'll say that. But I don't do any kind of treatments or anything like that. I typically just focus on maintenance, landscape maintenance, not lawn maintenance, but landscape maintenance. I maintain the entire landscape of people's property. But when I was growing my business, while I was still working a full-time job, I didn't even have time to cut my grass. So my wife and kids are out here cutting grass while I was out cutting other people's grass and driving a truck for a living. But anyway, this year is my first year going full-time in my business. So I now have time to restore my lawn, and I'm pretty much all but starting from scratch. My lawn was not in the terrible shape that it was in when I bought my house. You know, I had a good start and a good foundation on it, but it was not in the best shape in the world either. But anyway, you know, I quit my job at the end of March this year, and it is now the beginning of June, so you're looking at 3 months, and my lawn has come a long way. But what I want to do is I want to provide you with just tricks and tips along the way of this journey of restoring my lawn to help you, the homeowner, get your lawn back to where you want it. You know, I'm not telling you to drop your lawn care provider or anything like that, because it may be a situation where you just don't have time to cut your grass. You don't have the energy to cut your grass, or it just may be something that you don't like doing, and that's fine, but you still want a beautiful lawn. And these are tips that you can share with your lawn care provider. It may be something that he can help you with, but either way, I just want to help you, the homeowner, restore your beautiful lawn and not have to pay a ton of money to do it if you don't want to, especially you DIY guys. But anyway, the first tip and trick is to mow your grass, and mow it often, and mow it short. When I say short, I'm talking sub 2 inches, okay? You don't want your Bermuda grown, you do not want your Bermuda lawn growing more than 2 inches high. I have several customers that I maintain all the time. They prefer their grass to be 3 to 4 inches high. And if it was not for them having treatments, paying for people to treat their lawn would look like trash. Just simple facts of it. You do not want your Bermuda lawn to be 3, 4 inches high. You really don't want it to be more than 2 inches high. Most of the lawns that I maintain them between 1.5 inches and 1 3/4 inches. I do have quite a few that I maintain at 2 inches on the dot, and those are lawns that I cut every week. But most of my bi-weekly properties, I maintain those at 1.5 to 1 3/4 inches. And you really want to go lower than that, but I do not have a mower that goes lower than 1.5 inches. Once you start getting into your real mowers, then you can cut all the way down to 1/16 of an inch. That's what you see on your golf course greens and fairways and things like that. You'll see 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch Bermuda lawn. And that's really what you want. That's really ideal for your Bermuda property. It likes to be cut very low. But the reality is, most of us just don't have access to a mower that cuts less than about 1 inch, 1.5 inches. Like me, for instance, a professional lawn care provider, I cannot go lower than 1.5 inches. But it's fine. 1.5 inches is perfect. I would like to go lower. And once I get my lawn to where I want it, I will purchase a real mower, and I will be cutting it at about 1/2 inch to 1 3/4 inch long. But anyway, that's the first trick. Mow your grass and mow it short, okay? Preferably bag your grass. The second trick is mow it often. A lot of people would tell you to mow your grass 7 to 14 days. If you are hiring a lawn care provider, typically that's about all they can do, okay? They cannot mow your grass more than every 7 days. And the reason being is because, for one, it gets very expensive to you, the homeowner, to have a different frequency. And for two, it just throws our schedules off big time. We cannot go outside of 7 or 14 day schedules. So if you have time in between your lawn care provider coming out and mowing your grass, pull your lawnmower out and mow it. But typically, Bermuda grass is supposed to be maintained. It's supposed to be mowed every 4 to 5 days, okay? Keep that in mind. Mow your grass very often, 4 to 5 days. I mow mine every 3 days. What that does, your Bermuda lawn has what's called runners, or the technical name is stolons. And a perfect example, I'll get y'all turned around. You see these right here. This is a stolon, okay? Those are runners. You have them right here. You have them all through here. I have a lot of roots in my grass, and you see some more right around in here. Those are runners that have already rooted in. And if you have some bare spots in Bermuda, your Bermuda lawn, that is technically what you want to see, okay? If you see these, try not to cut those, okay? Turned around real quick. But that is why it is so important to edge your property, your concrete, your hard surfaces, and your landscaping surfaces, from grass to bed areas or grass to concrete. That is why it is so important to edge your Bermuda lawn every single time you mow the grass, because Bermuda is a creeping grass. It crawls under the grass or under the soil, and it crawls on top of the soil. The runners that crawl on top of the soil are called stolons, and the runners that crawl under the soil are called rhizomes. And that is what mowing your grass frequently does. It promotes your grass, instead of growing taller, it promotes it to grow across. And it runs more frequently, and it runs thicker. And that is how you get your lawn to thicken up, okay? But that is trick and tip number 2. Mow your grass often. Mow your grass, mow it low, and mow it very often, 4 to 5 days. I mow mine every 3 days. You can do the same thing. Tip number 4 is, thought I just heard my neighbor whistle at me. My neighbor whistled at me, but I guess I was wrong. But anyway, tip and trick number 3 is water your grass. You hear people all the time say, oh, you're watering your grass too much. You're going to drown your grass. Look, guys, water is essential to all life. And just like in humans, we require water. Your lawn requires water too. Now, yes, there is a such thing as way too much water. But you will know when you are watering your grass too much. If your grass is just soggy, it's soupy, every time you walk out there, then yes, you are probably mowing your grass too much. But here in the southeast, with clay soil or sandy soil, you're typically not going to water your grass too much. It is almost impossible to do. I water my grass 7 days a week, 15 minutes per zone. I have 3 zones in my yard. I water my grass 7 days a week, 15 minutes per zone. Your watering frequency will depend. It will depend on the temperature. It will depend on the shape of your lawn, and it will depend on the terrain of your lawn. Okay? If you have a lawn that is on a hill like mine is, I'm on the edge of a hill, and the water typically runs out of my lawn. So I water mine every day, and I water for 15 minutes a day. What that does, if you have a flat lawn, you don't need to water it that much, because your lawn will hold water like it should. You don't want it to hold a ton of water, but you want it to hold some water. That way you can retain some of that moisture in your Bermuda lawn. Now, if you don't water enough, will your grass die? Your Bermuda lawn will most likely not die. It is extremely hard to kill Bermuda grass. It is known as the alpha grass. It started out as a weed. They couldn't figure out a way to kill it, so they just turned it into a turf grass. But this grass creeps into everything. It creeps into your beds. It grows across the concrete, and if you let it, it will grow up the side of your house. That's why it is known as the alpha grass. It is very hard to kill, and it is very drought tolerant. The only thing that hurts Bermuda is what you see in the air right behind me, and that is a tree canopy. your Bermuda has to have sunlight. I'm gonna show you something. If you look across my lawn, everywhere you see shade, you see bare spots. Okay? That is because there is no sunlight getting to the ground, and it is not letting photosynthesis happen. If you look out there where the sun is, my Bermuda lawn is a lot thicker. That's just the way it is. There's only two ways you can combat that, guys. You can come out once or twice a year, or once every year or two, and you can lift your trees up. You can remove some of the interior branches, whatever you might think you need to do to allow sunlight to get to the ground. Or you can have the tree removed. You can chop it down, grind up the stumps, and then come back with topsoil and sod on top of it. That's really the only way to combat that. But your Bermuda lawn has to have sunlight. If it does not have sunlight, photosynthesis will not take place, and your lawn will not grow, it will not creep, and it will not thicken up. And that is what it will look like. That is what we're trying to avoid, and that is what I'm trying to restore right now. But that is some of your tips for this first video. Make sure your lawn has plenty of sunlight. Make sure you are watering your grass. Make sure you are mowing your grass often. And make sure you are mowing it very short, sub 2 inches. Now, as far as watering frequency, like I said, it varies from lawn to lawn. I live on a hill. The water runs out of my property. It does not retain moisture like a flat lawn would. That is why I water my lawn 7 days a week, 15 minutes a day, or per zone. The more you water your lawn, the more it is going to push that Bermuda. The more you mow your Bermuda, the lower you mow your Bermuda, the more it is going to push that Bermuda. And if you have a lawn that is patchy like mine is, it will promote the creeping effect of your Bermuda lawn, and within a year it will thicken up to the point where you can start the leveling process. But anyway, guys, that's the 4 tips I want to cover with you this week. Follow me along on this journey. For all you lawn care providers out there, maybe you got something out of this, and maybe this is something you can keep in your hip pocket when you are quoting lawns, or when you're mowing lawns and your customer asks you, what can I do to make my lawn better? These are some things. Y'all stick around. We're going to have more videos coming up. We're going to do some things to better our lawn, and we're going to try as hard as we can to take you guys with us on this journey. It's probably going to be a 2-year journey. Y'all stick around. Y'all learn something. Anyways, man, I'm going to hop off here. Until the next one, like I always tell you, man, keep cutting that grass and keep making that money. I'll let y'all. Bye.